The obvious question is about the major development, the discovery of an undercar bomb. Can you tell us about that? How significant is it? And how significant is the discovery of military-grade explosives, Semtex, by dissident Republicans?
Yeah, so this was an extremely significant development. So the seizure happened on the N2 near Carrickmacross. So members of the Special Detective Unit, our counter-terrorism unit, stopped the vehicle. There was one female driver of the vehicle. They searched that vehicle, and as a result of that search, we had to call out our colleagues from the military, our ordnance colleagues around bomb disposal, and then they dealt with the device in that vehicle. So I suppose to be clear, what we found was an extremely significant seizure. So this was an explosive device. We arrested one person at the scene, as I said, and we arrested a second person in Dublin. So we're satisfied that this is dissident Republican activity, and our investigations are continuing in relation to it.
The obvious question is about the major development, the discovery of an undercar bomb. Can you tell us about that? How significant is it? And how significant is the discovery of military-grade explosives, Semtex, by dissident Republicans?
Yeah, so this was an extremely significant development. So the seizure happened on the N2 near Carrickmacross. So members of the Special Detective Unit, our counter-terrorism unit, stopped the vehicle. There was one female driver of the vehicle. They searched that vehicle, and as a result of that search, we had to call out our colleagues from the military, our ordnance colleagues around bomb disposal, and then they dealt with the device in that vehicle. So I suppose to be clear, what we found was an extremely significant seizure. So this was an explosive device. We arrested one person at the scene, as I said, and we arrested a second person in Dublin. So we're satisfied that this is dissident Republican activity, and our investigations are continuing in relation to it.
And how worried are you about the fact that military-grade explosives have been discovered in dissident Republican hands? I mean, where are they getting Semtex?
Yeah, so look, any seizure of this nature is really concerning. However, we certainly know that there are a small minority of dissident Republicans who did not agree with the Good Friday Agreement. They did not put weapons and explosives. They didn't, go through with the proper process in relation to decommissioning. So that is something that we continue to deal with. There's a small minority of these individuals. I would describe them as radicalised Republicans. And this is a threat that we're going to continue to face for some time in Garda Síochána. We work very closely with our colleagues in PSNI and the intelligence services in the UK to deal with this threat. But I want to commend the members of the Garda Síochána who were involved in this operation work yesterday.
Are you concerned about the youth of 8 people?
Anything about the quantity of the explosive that was in the bomb, or the nature of the damage that would have been done had this thing gone off?
Yeah, so look, unfortunately for operational reasons, I can't go into the exact detail of the device, but what I will say, certainly it was a significant explosive device. So certainly not just a seizure of components or pieces. This was an explosive device, and it would have or could have potentially caused significant damage. However, obviously we need to work through that with our technical people, colleagues in the military, to work out exactly the nature of the device. So examinations are ongoing at the moment.
Commissioner, was this a ready-made device? And you say significant damage, but how much destruction could have been caused here if the Gardaí had not have intercepted?
Yeah, so the exact nature of the device, obviously for operational reasons I won't go into, but again, this was a significant explosive device. So, and I suppose we need to work through the technical examination before we'll be in a position to, I suppose, comment on the full ability of that device, but certainly significant.
Do we know who the target was of this, or how this device was going to be used?
Yeah, so look, certainly we're obviously, we have 2 people still in custody, so we're questioning them at the moment, working with colleagues. Obviously this was not a random stop. Obviously this is an intelligence-led operation, so we certainly do have information in relation to the individuals involved, but naturally I can't go into a lot of that in public.
But are you concerned about the age? I mean, the woman is in her 20s. The Good Friday Agreement is 1998.
Yeah, but I mean, of course it's concerning, but we see this not just in Republican terrorism, but other elements of terrorism as well. We see young people being radicalised, and it's no different in Republican dissident terrorism as well. So Unfortunately, you know, it is a really challenging situation for us. But look, we continue to really work hard to deal with this threat and protect the public both here and in Northern Ireland.
How big a threat is it?
Yeah, so what I would say is, I mean, we have to keep it in perspective. There's a small amount of people, so small amount of people involved, but very motivated. And as we can see, I mean, they do have the ability to do engineering in relation to explosive devices. So, you know, obviously it's a really high priority for us in the Garda Síochána. Not just today. I mean, this is the reason we have a counter-terrorism unit, and this is the reason we have specialists working in this area. And I think, unfortunately, this is something that we will have to deal with for some time to come here.
Commissioner Mann.
You obviously know it's a very timely development in relation to the discovery of a car bomb being driven north. What's your reaction to that, Minister? How significant is that?
Well, I think it is very significant. I've been updated on that by the Commissioner. I think it evidences the fact that there is an ongoing threat in respect of dissident Republican activity, but I also know that there's been great cooperation between the PSNI and Garda Síochána, and I think I suppose the developments recently and the work of Garda Síochána indicate the benefits of having that close cooperation between the PSNI and Garda Síochána.
But are you concerned about the sophisticated nature of this device? I mean, it seems to have contained a power unit and indeed military-grade explosives, Semtex. I mean, where are the dissidents getting Semtex?
Yeah, it is very worrying, but I suppose what I'm encouraged about is that the Gardaí were able to apprehend the suspect. The device has been, I suppose, procured for the Gardaí and has been diffused. So there's lots of issues in respect of it that are of concern, but I also want to commend the Garda Síochána for the work they did in ensuring that this didn't become a real threat to the public.
But doesn't it show the threat that dissident Republicans pose?
There's clearly, I've been updated regularly by the Commissioner that there is an ongoing threat from dissident Republicanism. Like, we need to recognise that, and what happened yesterday is evidence of that.
Minister, it seems that if the Gardaí hadn't have intercepted here, we could have been looking at colossal damage. What would have happened here if it hadn't been for the Gardaí?
Well, obviously there would have been a very serious criminal act taking place if the intention of what appears to be the suspect's ambitions was allowed to happen. But listen, I'm going to let the Commissioner deal maybe with the operational details in respect of it, as his expertise is in that area. But I've no doubt in recognising that this was a very serious development, but I want to commend Garda Síochána for apprehending suspects in respect.
Well, on a political level, have you been in touch, or will you be in touch with your colleagues in Northern Ireland, and indeed have you spoken to the Chief Constable about this?
Well, I've spoken to the Chief Constable just inside there in respect of it, and indeed the Commissioner I know has been engaging with him extensively in respect of it. I'm fully aware from my engagement with the old Secretary of State Hilary Benn, like, we talk about the ongoing threat that dissident Republicanism poses, and I'm sure I'll have the same conversations with Chris Bryant in due course. Any other questions?
Minister, a man's still being held in Jordan.